I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet,
Just knock it off, you scum bucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of
Monday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of
Tuesday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of those
Happy
days.
The weekend comes, my cycle hums. Ready to make
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better you, cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about
Monday, happy days.
It's just one of
Tuesday,
those,
happy days.
it's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, my cycle hums. Ready to make
Feel like shit. My suggestion is to keep your distance. 'Cause right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I pack a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here,
Not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name, of course, is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 112 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. How is everyone doing this fine Thursday evening? It's a little bit damper than usual. I mean, there was actually a period when I was at work today. It started to get a little bit sunnier during my lunch break, but of course, after I finished work today, no surprise, it started to rain once again. That's what you get for living in Scotland, of course. But anyway, that's beside the point. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone is doing well. Tomorrow is Friday, and then, of course, it will be the weekend. I cannot wait for that, of course. Let me have a look and see who's in the chat just now, and then we'll somewhat get started with the show itself. Before I actually give a little bit of a story before we get into the meat and potatoes of tonight's episode. And of course, with tonight's episode, again, I'm just only going to be covering one episode tonight, or not episode, sorry, one topic tonight. Depending on how long that would be, I'll probably go on to the Q&A next part of the show. That is if people want to ask me any certain, or not certain, but any type of question. They could just feel free to ask me in the chat after that topic as all came to a close. And then, of course, I'll be back on Sunday with episode 113. And that one, I think with that episode, I'm going to do something slightly different. Now, in the past on Mood of the Nation, there have been an episode here and there where I do maybe slightly change the format, if you will. So I would kind of make some kind of like satirical take on certain people, certain groups, or maybe a certain individual or anything like that at all. So, for example, I made that episode 99 episode of Mood of the Nation where the first half of it was basically me doing a complete piss take on the philosophical aspect of the nationalist scene. So I kind of want to do something like that for Sunday's episode, and mainly taking the piss out with people who continuously watch stuff like the new Rings of Power show on Amazon Prime, or even the new She-Hulk show that's out on Disney Plus. You know, something like that, where they know for a fact that those shows are bad, they're horrible, they're filled to the brim of anti-white propaganda, they're filled to the brim of complete woke propaganda. But for some reason, well, we all know for a fact why they still watch it. Shekels, but they continuously watch it because that's how they make their content. So it's going to be something along those lines. I might have already spoiled it already, but trust me, it will be a bit of a banger when that episode will come into fruition for this Sunday at 5 p.m. Anyway, let me have a look and see who's in the chat just now, and then we'll get started with the show. So first things first, Gammon Sandwich is in the chat. I was going to say Chief Mooney, but of course, obviously that's me. That, of course, will be the link for my coffee page. So, of course, before I go any further, if there's people who like the show, like my content, and like what I do when it comes to activism or anything like that at all, and they would like to support me with that, of course, you can donate through coffee directly through the link in the chat just now, which, of course, you can see it there. Well, at least on my screen anyway. So, or you can donate to me through PayPal directly, which again, that link will be in the description down below. Any donation, any amount will be greatly appreciated, of course. And those would strictly go towards my podcast, Mood of the Nation, or for future videos I really want to do. I've written a couple of scripts, but I've written down ideas on like Notepad or something like that for potential videos. For example, I really want to do like a parody of Jordan Peterson, because I've noticed as of late that he's made 2 videos in the past for Christians and for Muslims, but he hasn't really made a video for Jewish people, which really makes you think why he wouldn't make a video like that. So again, that's an idea to throw out there with that. But anyway, even that all being said, or even again towards like activism, or at least helping me out for travels or anything like that at all, then you can always throw in any amount of donation towards me, and that would be greatly appreciated. Of course, that being said, please do not feel obligated. So if you have to give me donations or anything like that at all, the option is there basically. So if you want to donate to me, that's fine. I greatly appreciate your kind generosity. If not, again, that's completely fine. As long as you keep coming back and watching the show on a regular basis, then I'm happy with that when it comes to that. So let me just quickly put my glasses away because I don't really need them at the moment. But if I don't really need the earphone at the moment here with that. Anyway, let's have a look at the chat here just now. So we've got Gamma Sandwich first of all, and he writes, personally, I always choose Moody on a Sunday or Thursday for a higher quality of my racisms. Well, thank you very much, Gammon. Thank you very much for that. We have Joe Marsh in the chat. Joe Marsh, like. It says, Brat. Well, thank you very much, Joe. The Earl of Stair is with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Austin Advocate, evening fellow patriots and nationalists. Well, good evening to you too. Thank you very much for watching. Roscoe is in the chat with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation as usual, Roscoe. Waiting for a wallpaper. Well, it's a good thing I did pin the flag here tonight, which of course is going to be a regular thing for the show. There might be a couple of times where the flag will not be put up, and you'll definitely see the classic wallpaper, if you will. I actually did put that up. I think it was 5 or 10 minutes before the show went live. But anyway, there you go. So anyway, who else is in the chat with us? Rory Herbert is in the chat with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Streaky Bacon, of course, inshallah, brother, to you too. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Wow, there's a lot of comments coming through all of a sudden. Jesus. There's Toby Radley. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. The Woodlander is with us, of course. Evening, Kang. Good evening to you too, Woodlander. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Yes, Joe, thank you very much for pointing that out. Tomorrow will be the PA monthly roundup tomorrow at 7 p.m., I think it will be. Of course, that will be the monthly show that's hosted by both Mark Collett and Laura Towler. The reason why they couldn't do it last week was because both Laura and Sam were here in Scotland for the Scottish PA conference that happened this past Saturday. So, of course, they couldn't exactly do a monthly roundup during that week because obviously they were busy doing other things. Obviously, for in this case being the PA Scottish Conference, the second year for that fact. But nonetheless, they will be doing the PA monthly roundup for September, which will be live tomorrow at 7 p.m. Of course, by tomorrow, I'm sure that they'll make posts about it, like, tune in to tonight for the PA Monthly Roundup. But of course, everyone, including myself, will be sharing those posts on Telegram and everywhere else, like Twitter, Gab, you name it. It's that type of idea. But thank you very much for pointing that out, Joe Marsh. That's really great of you to do that. Run Rig Rocket to the Moon. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. We have Bill Athling in the chat. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation, as per usual, Bill. interrogation light. like I'm sorry when it comes to the lighting, but this is probably the best I can do at the moment here with that. So you can't blame a guy for trying. You can't blame a guy for trying. So let me see here. Joe Marsh again. I need to do my own stream. I just ain't got it together yet. Oh, I see. I think I remember you talking about you and the rest of the PA Wales might want to do like a show together, which again, I actually do still agree that you guys should do your own show together with that, because there's a lot of content creators, especially who are PA related, that are from England, from Scotland. I think there's Paul Stevenson. I don't know if he's a fully fledged member of PA, but I know he's Irish and all that. But there hasn't really been any content creators. Well, I say content creators, but shows like PA related shows that are based in Wales. So I still think that's a good idea for you guys to make a show or like that, because again, I think there's definitely good chemistry between you guys anyway with that. So, but yes, what's a TV? What's a woman? Smash your TV, smash your God. Let's see here. Get the grift in, son. Well, I mean, yeah, if people, when it comes to the usual grift, if people want to donate, again, that's entirely up to themselves with that. So I just thought I would shout that out there in this case with that. So let me see. Got rid of my TV with that. That's fair enough. Yeah. Hightower is in the chat with us as well. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Rory Herbert in the chat has posted 14 likes and rising. Excellent stuff. Well, thank you very much. Keep the likes coming up here, everybody. Daniel Doom, oy vey, everybody. Well, oy vey to you too, Daniel Doom. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. We have another familiar face in the chat, Ochiai Channel 1 or Ochiai-san. Hello, Ochiai. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. It's been a while. I know I've said to you that I would like you to come on the show. It's just because I've been really busy with stuff, and of course, I haven't really been messaging or anything like that at all. But I will try and see if I can maybe arrange something. What I'll do is after the show, if you don't mind me doing so, I'll send you a message here and there on Twitter, because I think you're still on that anyway. I'll send you a message asking if you're interested in coming on, and we'll see if we can maybe sort something out, because I know there's a massive time jump between here and where he lives in Japan. I think in Japan they're about, what is it, 7 or 8 hours ahead of us. So that would mean, so it's 7:44 right now. I'm just gonna have a look at my clock in a moment here. Don't put this in the chat, folks. I want to see for myself and tell you guys this part here. World clock. Tokyo at the moment is 3:44 in the morning. So there you go. How are you up at that time, Ochiai? I don't know, but I appreciate you coming on nonetheless with that, and I'll see if I can drop you a message and see if you're interested in coming on, and then we'll see if we can maybe arrange something in terms of getting like a suitable time frame for the both of us, of course. So we'll see with that. I like the Scots flag on the wall. Well, thank you very much, Occident Advocate. You can also thank Gammon Sandwich for that as well, because he was the great guy who sent that to me in the first place, which he didn't have to, but the fact that he still did that, I greatly appreciate that nonetheless. Is a brilliant gift, and I couldn't ask for a better gift from Gammon Sandwich. So Gammon, thank you very much for sending it to me, the flag to me again. Really appreciate that. If that's blowing vinyl, it will point over. Nice, okay. Posh kids. Put the big light on. I mean, actually, you know what? Hold on a minute here. Be nice to see a PA Welsh stream. It would be really nice to see something like that. Be back in a second, folks. I'll be right back. Right, let's see if I can get this on. I don't know if that might be better, because that's the big light on in the living room, but I don't think it might be any better. But you know what I think it is, folks? I keep thinking about this all the time, but I have a sneaking suspicion it might be to do with the camera quality, because, like I said before, this camera I'm using is a built-in type of webcam. So obviously it's going to be complete potato vision. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about saving up to not only get myself a brand new microphone, but I'm going to see if I can save up and get myself a better webcam. So of course it would be better quality, because I think that might be to do with that, but I may be wrong on that. But anyway, I'll still see if I can get some sorted with that as well. Let me see who's in the chat again as well. That sounds nice. I just don't know how to do it. I'm sure we'll figure something out, Ochiai. Don't you worry about that, sir. Well, I'm sure we'll figure something out with that. So, Streaky Bacon, I fucking love our country, Britain, Scots, and English, Welsh, and Irish. A rare mix and the best. And these fucking elites think they will take us. They'll never take us. They think they can, and they can try, but they'll never take us, no matter what. Let me see here. That is better. Well, thank you, Woodlander. I'm glad to see that's way better. So there we go. So excellent. So there's a lot of familiar faces in the chat, which is excellent and good to see. There's 21 people watching the show already, which again is fantastic. Hopefully there'll be more people coming along and watching the stream. I mean, you never know. Maybe it might be a quiet night tonight. I don't know, but we'll definitely see with that as the show goes on. Because even if people don't show up for tonight's episode, I'm sure they might watch it through like a catch-up type of thing, or they might come back for Sunday's episode. We'll definitely see with that. We have diversity with our brown, green, and blue eyes. Indeed, Streaky Bacon, I definitely agree with that. Anyway, so before I get into the meat and potatoes of tonight's episode, I kind of want to give a bit of a short story as to what happened at work today. Well, it's not necessarily a story, but it's something I was just thinking when I was working. That I thought was a little bit bizarre, kind of an idea. So it wasn't anything major what happened at work today, but with my workplace, there's a mixture of native Scots, but there's also a mixture of a lot of immigrants that do work there. Now, throughout the working day, we have like a I think it's a tablet or a radio so that we can listen to music all day. Of course, trying to keep the morale going and get people to continue on to do their work. So I'm crashing the sofa wrecked. Oh dear. So when we listen to, of course, the more mainstream music stuff, stuff like pop and all of that, or sometimes rock, for instance. But today there was a bit of an interesting thing that happened, and this was something that happened ages ago at work when it maybe first started back in maybe June or July, and maybe start of August. I'm not entirely too sure, but there was a moment where I was just thinking, like, really, that song's playing? Like, I'm actually surprised at that. And Sally's in the chat with us. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation, as per usual. Thank you very much for that. Now, I don't know the name of the song, but I'm pretty sure people have heard of it before. What I'm just going to do is I'm going to see if I can maybe play just a little bit of it so that you all know exactly what song I'm referring to. And I'm going to see if I can maybe do it live. Let me see if I can maybe get this up here for a moment. Share system audio just in case. Yep. Don't think I really need the intro anymore. I'll take that off, remove from studio. And probably just keep it at that page there. So let me see if I can get this. What was it I typed in to search this song originally? I think it was like famous. Maybe that one actually, yeah. Right. Okay. Right. Now, this was maybe after lunch, so about just after 2 o'clock, maybe up to like an hour into it, well, maybe at 3 o'clock. I'm not entirely too sure. But there was a point when we were working, this song ends up playing in the background, to which I was just like, really? And it's this song right here. If it will play. Hold on. Can anyone hear that? Let's see if I can. Now, this song was playing, and I was just remember thinking, like, really? Like, why is anyone playing that song? But copyright strike in. Indeed. So the name of the song is called Mandian to Back Key. I think that's meant to be, I think it's supposed to be Indian or something like that. And it's by a Punjabi MC. I'm sure people have I fucking hate that Bangra shit. well, see, the thing is, like, the funny thing with that is DJ Khaled. See, the thing is, like, that I know people have heard about that song before. It's supposed to be a very famous, like, Indian song from India. well, well, saying that, but anyway, that song was playing during my work, and I was just remember thinking like, okay, like why is that being played during the show during the work? No one took any offense or anything like that at all, or anything like that, or anything like that. There was a lot of people dancing, especially a lot of like the white workers that were dancing to it, and I just remember thinking why. I was like the only person who was just standing there, just waiting for stuff to come through with my arms folded, of course, and I'm just not participating whatsoever. Just remember thinking that like this is like what our forefathers were absolutely just spinning it in their graves right now. Like what the hell is going on here? Very trad Scottish, indeed. And was even more bizarre about that. After that song played, I don't know whether or not if it was requested by one of these immigrants or anything like that at all, but there was more of these fucking like Indian or Pakistani songs that were playing afterwards, maybe like one or two more. And I remember just thinking, like, what the fuck is going on here? And there may be people that might try and defend it by saying, like, well, I mean, throughout the day they have to have heard like all of the mainstream stuff that we would normally hear. It's like, well, yeah, like what exactly is wrong with that? What do you call a cool? Oh, Joe, that's a good joke. I listen to Smooth Radio. I never really have any particular like radio station I would normally listen to. Wherever is on, I'll just listen to it. I remember there was one time though. This wasn't at my current workplace, but the one workplace I was working. I think maybe last year, in fact, I think it's about like a month ago. I would say last year. And it was during overtime on a Saturday. So I would normally work from Monday through Friday and then be off during the weekend. But sometimes, if there was more extra work to be done, they would ask me if I wouldn't come if I wouldn't mind coming in on a Saturday from I think it's like 6 in the morning till about 11 or 12 in the afternoon. So which I would be like, yeah, I wouldn't mind that, to be quite honest. So as I was working away, I think it must have been Clyde One. No, not Clyde One. It's one of those Glasgow type of radio stations, if I remember correctly. But this was at a time when the whole like Black Lives, not like Black. I think it was more like Black History Month was going on at that time. So of course they were promoting a lot of songs, a lot of classics. A lot of like hit songs that were produced by Black musicians and all of that, like rap and all of that. And I remember just thinking, Jesus, it's just it's like it was just really bad, to be quite honest with you with that. So but yeah, again, it might not be like a major story that I'm telling here, but I just thought it was something that I would just remember thinking, I mean, would they react differently if we played maybe a bit of like Scottish music or something like that? I don't know, but I just thought it was a little bit bizarre that. But anyway, so right then, so with that story out of the way, we're actually approaching to almost 8 o'clock already. That's crazy. I cannot believe we're actually coming towards half an hour into the show already, kind of. So let's actually get right into the main topic at hand here, which of course is the newspaper outlet here based in Scotland called the Ferret. They're pretty much at it again. Now, I know there might be people that might be wondering, like, well, why are you giving them any publicity whatsoever? I just think that they deserve to be completely scorned over, because the articles that they keep coming out about Patriotic Alternative, or more specifically PA Scotland, are just completely false and filled to the brim of utter lies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can get the article up here in a sec. And then let's see that here. I'm sure I did copy it. I wonder if I can still. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Now, I had a small read of the article earlier on, but I thought maybe I would save that for the show tonight, and then we can have a look at this together. So this article literally came out today, because what was mentioned that both the Ferret and it's all on Telegram anyway at this point, because I know PA Scotland have shared this already as well. But both the Ferret and the Daily Record in Scotland are writing articles about the recent PA Scotland a second conference that happened this past Saturday, which we were just like, well, that's going to be really interesting. So, of course, first of all, the Ferrets article came out, and of course, as per usual, it's just filled to the brim of just pure lies, and it's a blatant smear piece. If you want to see like a prime example of what a smear piece is, just read any article by the Ferret. And in this case here, I'm just going to show you this at the moment here. It's so much of a smear piece. Look at the main image they use for the header right here. Don't want notifications, fuck off. Far-right activist linked to banned neo-Nazi group gave speech in Stirling. And this was written by Billy Briggs, October the 5th, 2022. Okay, so it technically didn't came out today, but it came out yesterday. But I would imagine maybe it came out early in the morning, well, maybe late at night, and then we didn't get to see it until today. So this image right here, I'm sure people have seen this already. This was the same, if I even said here, Hope Not Hate. This is the same photograph used by Hope Not Hate to try and smear Sam Melia. As you can see, there's Sam, part of the image right here. The same image they tried to smear Sam Melia, that he was a member of National Action and all of that, despite the fact it's all been completely debunked over and over again. Sam, from what I can recall, Sam was never a member of National Action. He went to this protest here in this image that was supposed to be not supposed to be, but it was an anti-grooming protest that was supposed to be defending the victims of these grooming gangs. Of course, as I said, it was intended to be an anti-grooming protest. And that was the whole point of it. Sam, again, from what I'm aware, he didn't know National Action were going to be there. Like it was a case of like pure coincidence that both Sam and this group were to be in the same protest. Again, Sam was never a member. He never knew that they were going to be there. He only went there because to him, he was supporting the idea of a protest with these groomings that have been going on towards our white children, and that's why he went there to begin with. So again, as I said, it's all been completely debunked. But the fact that they're using this same photograph that is used by Hope Not Hate, they really are trying to paint not just us in a bad light, but they're trying to paint Sam and anyone related to PA in a really bad light, and all this and that. So again, it's nothing new here regarding to that. Even I've seen this on Telegram, but the image, again, the Ferret would use when people, but just before they click on the link to read the article themselves, they used that same photograph of some fanny based in Scotland who was wearing like a bandana, and he's got sunglasses on, and he's holding up the swords, or if I remember correctly. And again, groups like Hope Not Hate, the Ferret, any news outlet you could think of, trying to use this as examples of, PA is potentially a very dangerous group, like having people like this being part of the movement. Despite the fact that image that we've seen over and over again, I personally have never met this person before. I've never seen him. I've never spoken to him. And quite frankly, if there was someone like that in PA, I would want them out immediately, because not only do I think they make themselves look like a massive fanny, but I think they're just making themselves and the rest of any group for that, any nationalist group for that matter, look really bad. I mean, it's not only fucking retarded to have a photograph of yourself holding up weaponry of any kind, but I just think it could be used as blatant smear pieces in the near future. I mean, like this, for example. But this is only just the tip of the iceberg, by the way, folks. This is only the tip of the iceberg at what I'm seeing here. And just before I move any further, I think there was a notification I received on Telegram. I think it's from Patriarchal Alternative Official on Telegram. Moody is live now. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for PA Official Telegram page for sharing my link. Really appreciate that. Oh, and another thing too, by the way, folks, I also greatly appreciate the fact that on my Telegram page, I've managed to surpass 600 subscribers during that night, which I was really happy with. In fact, I want to get this up here for a moment. I keep forgetting to do this. There's all the links to all my platforms if you want to follow me on, like Twitter, Gab. Well, if you're still on Twitter, that is, but all the other platforms, Odysee, and etc. Definitely follow me there if you would like to. That would greatly appreciated. But yeah, I currently speaking on Telegram, the official Chief Moody page. It has now 642 subscribers, which I'm really happy with. So, obviously, that being said, I'm very close to hitting 700 now, which is quite crazy to think. But for everyone who shared it, and also I know Laura shared my Telegram post about that. Thank you for doing so. That is greatly appreciated, of course. Anyway, let's get right into the article itself here. And of course, as per usual, we'll read through this bit by bit, and then we'll have a discussion about that later on here. So, as it first starts here with the article, a far-right activist linked to a banned neo-Nazi terror group gave a speech at a secretive event last weekend in Stirling, organised by the white nationalist group Patriotic Alternative Scotland. Sam Melia is a leading figure with Patriotic Alternative, or PA for short, who is alleged to have had links to National Action, a terror group banned by the UK government in 2017. Sam Melia from Yorkshire was among a group of 58 people who attended PA's event at Stirling Highland Hotel. The anti-racism group Hope Not Hate, no surprise they would be involved somehow, has described PA as Britain's fascist threat, and it revealed that Melia had marched with National Action at a rally in 2016. Now, again, I've already said this at the start of this article here. Sam was never a member of National Action. In fact, he never even didn't even know that National Action were going to be at that protest, an anti-grooming protest. It was a case of, like, again, of just pure coincidence that both happened to be there at the same time. I mean, like, it's like it's like saying, I know that this might be a bit of a bad example, but it's like saying like Owen Jones was at a climate change protest, and then Antifa were also there at that protest as well. So by that logic, does that mean Owen Jones is a member of Antifa? No, of course not. But we all know for a fact that it's completely different rules when it comes to these leftists. Again, this is just an attempt to try and make Sam look really bad, despite the fact that's all been debunked multiple fucking times. But anyway, now just a little nod here with the 58 people who attended. Well, take it from me, I was an attendee at the conference, but I was also part of the security part of the conference as well. And from what I remember, there was more than 58. There was approximately, well, not approximately, but there was around about maybe 60. I think maybe about 70 people. So I think 58 might be a little bit low, but I guess I don't know. Maybe they're trying to make it look like as if it was like less than what it really is. I have no fucking clue whatsoever. But anyway, let's continue on from there. Others attending the Stirling event included Simon Crane from West Lothian, who hosted a podcast condemned by anti-racism campaigners after it featured convicted far-right criminals and extremists. I mean, like, well, a funny thing with this is, again, they don't really give any examples of who those people were. I guess because they're afraid that people might actually look it up for themselves and maybe do their own research. But I mean, if that really were to be the case, then why isn't Simon Crane thrown in prison or even brought into question for it? Not that I would want that to happen to him, obviously, of course. But again, this is just an attempt to try and make Sai and anyone part of PA regarding to this look really bad. Again, it's just all part of the propaganda machine, isn't it? The Ferret revealed that supporters of PA, which emerged in early 2021, posted racist and anti-Semitic comments and disturbing images in a private group or messaging app Telegram. We also revealed that PA Scotland had compiled a list of around 60 organisations and individuals in Scotland who oppose racism and fascism. I don't remember anything like that at all, but I don't know if this was something that was talked about before on the show, but this sentence right here, this is actually interesting. I remember we talked about this on the show before. Last year, 2 women formerly involved with PA told the Ferret they had suffered suicidal thoughts after abuse and threats by PA supporters. Well, I mean, I've never met these 2 women before, and I I've been with PA for about maybe come up to about maybe 2 years now, I think. And I know many people within PA, and I've never once ever seen any abuse towards any woman who are members of PA or anything like that at all. Never once seen anything like that at all. As a matter of fact, with PA, I mean, you have Laura, who's the deputy leader of Patriotic Alternative. You have people like Jodie Kay, who is a very well liked, a very well respected member within PA. I mean, there's tons of women in PA who are very well liked and well respected. So I find it incredibly hard to believe that again there was abuse thrown at these 2 women. I think that these 2 women are just prime examples of the types of those guys type of people who didn't quite like the idea of us wanting to maybe better ourselves, wanting to improve or anything like that at all. And they were just the types of people that were trying to subvert the movement in any way, shape, or form. So, and this whole thing when it comes to the whole Telegram thing, because again, there was almost this push of trying to make Telegram as a platform look really bad, as if it was this pro-terrorist app for people to use, which is funny because I remember seeing there was a lot of leftists using Telegram, like from time to time, either to maybe snoop upon what we're doing or maybe even to showcase some of their pages as well. It's the same thing like they would do on platforms like Twitter or Instagram or so on and so forth. So again, I find it hard to believe that sorry, excuse me. They're trying to paint Telegram as a bad platform for people to use when, again, there's been examples of these lefty douchebags using Telegram exactly that. So, I mean, again, it's this whole rules for thee but not for thee type of mentality with these people. While the group is worrying due to its targeting of young people for radicalization, there is little hope of their disturbing ideology being taken up by the wider public, who overwhelmingly reject their fascist worldview, and that is by Gregory Davis from the Hope Not Hate researcher. See, that's funny, that type of quote there, because if people instantly will, sorry, excuse me, if there are people who instantly completely condemn our worldview, then why is it then that we're constantly being deplatformed? Why are we constantly being shadow banned? Why are we not being promoted? Why are we constantly being false flagged all the time? It's because if we were to come out and actually speak our opinions of what we truly believe in, there's a high possibility that people might actually be like, oh, I actually agree with what they're saying here, and I might want to have a look into it, and maybe they might become a supporter. I don't know, but I just think it's a bit of a stretch because let's be honest here, nobody really takes Hope Not Hate not entirely seriously, nor do they even read through their own fucking stuff. Look at all the pages or posts they have on places like Twitter, for instance. There's like little to no, what's the word I was going to say, like interaction or something like that. The only types of people who would read through their articles are really people like us, and it's only just because it's something to laugh at. Nobody really, God fucking damn it, sorry. Nobody really interacts with their posts or engages with them whatsoever. Sorry, folks, my cough. God damn it. Anyway, let's have a look at this. Concerns have now been raised about the PA event in Stirling. Gregory Davis, a researcher with Hope Not Hate, said PA is an extreme and dangerous group. Extreme and dangerous group, but yet also believes that people will instantly reject PA because of its fascist worldview or not to be taken seriously. Right. Okay, Gregory, I'll take you seriously with that. He added, as well as those drawn from the banned Nazi terror group National Action, other leaders were formerly active in the BNP or the British National Party and English Defence League. And a quote from him here. While the group is worrying due to its targeting, I've already read that. So what was the point of even? Okay, never mind. A spokesperson for the Scottish Greens said that any links to National Action are very concerning and must be fully investigated. Well, I mean, they can try, but I'm sure as hell they'll find little to no evidence um, of any affiliation or anything like that whatsoever. So, I mean, they can try all they want, but it'll just come back as all being thrown back in their fucking faces. So, anyway. It is a bigoted and reactionary organization that spreads misinformation and bile wherever it goes. Its values are the antithesis of the fairer, greener, and better Scotland that we want to see. God, the cuckolding from that quote is astonishing. So, okay, so the part of spreading misinformation, right? Let's all go back to the Dispatches documentary that aired. When was it that aired? Was it? I know it was this year, but was it back in? I think it was maybe it was. I think it was during the summer. Maybe it was like maybe May or June or something like that. And of course, a lot of people within PA talked about it. A lot of people outside of PA talked about it. There was, if you all remember that documentary, the Dispatches documentary, which by the way, you can now watch that on YouTube, and you can definitely give a comment here and there if you want to with that. There was a part in that documentary when they were going through the leaflets. One leaflet in particular, of course, is the one we used for April or for drama. And that leaflet was the white minority leaflet that we were giving out for drama. Now, everyone knows what that leaflet looks like. Of course, it's like blue with white lettering, and there's a center image of like immigrants coming into the country or flooding into the country. Below that is all of it's like a statement saying this information is backed this information is backed by Professor David Coleman of Oxford University, where he predicted that white Britons would become a minority by 2060 or by 2066 if the trends continue the way they are. And that portion of the leaflet with the Dispatches documentary, they blurred that, which, again, if we were spreading misinformation, why would they blur something like that? Because, hey, if they honestly think that we were spreading misinformation and we were all just these crazy far-right conspiracy theorists, then why would they feel the need to go to such an extra mile of trying to blur that out with the leaflet? Actually, now that I think of it, I actually do have... Hold on a minute here. I've got like one of the extra leaflets here. So, if I can maybe come back onto this page here real quick while there's a lot of comments coming through, holy crap. It's, of course, this leaflet right here, white Britons to be a minority by the 2060s or sooner. And at the bottom, I don't know if this might come in clearer, but at the bottom here, oh shit, the light's reflecting. Hold on, let me try that. White Britons are already a minority. Let me see if I can try and do that. Is that any better? Hold on. I mean, you can kind of read that, but anyway, I'll just read out just for the sake of the context here. White Britons are already a minority in London, and according to Oxford professor and population expert David Coleman, due to failing white birth rates and mass immigration, white Britons will be a minority in Britain as a whole by the 2060s. Now, I know there's a bit of speculation that the people are saying it might be a bit sooner rather than later, but that was predicted by David Coleman. Now, of course, as you've seen in that documentary, and of course, there's a lot more information in the back, but the point here is, at the bottom here of this leaflet, in that the Dispatches documentary, they blurred that out. Why would they need to blur it out if it's supposed to be a far-right conspiracy theory that's not supposed to be taken as fact or even supposed to be taken seriously with that? Really makes you think, doesn't it? Really makes you think. Ochia, just real quick, if PA was racist, you wouldn't be having me here. Oh, exactly. You know, exactly. That's actually a really good point, Ochia. That's actually a really good point indeed. UK is 15th most densely populated country in the world. Well, there you go. And even hashtag even made a good point here saying about the name Muhammad. Number one British name is Muhammad. Again, well, there you go. That's another further proof of that. Our pal, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Thank you very much for being here. Getting called racist just means you're doing something right. Well, not just doing something right, but you're just speaking the truth, basically. So, But he's in his own country. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, fair enough. So, yeah, yeah. I mean, Ochiai is from like Japan, but I think with someone like Ochiai-san, there's a lot of similarities because he's a nationalist. I'm a nationalist. He cares very deeply about his country, Japan, and he wants the Japanese to be a majority. Whereas I'm, of course, Scotland or for Britain, I want my people, the white people here, to be the majority of these lands. So, um, but yeah, just to make a point with that in this case. So, anyway, what was the other thing to mention with that article? Hold on a minute here. So misinformation and bile wherever it goes. Well, that part with the like bile wherever it goes. Again, it's just a case of we're just speaking the truth, and of course, truth tends to hurt with a lot of people. But anyway, values are the antithesis of the fairer, greener, and better Scotland that we want to see. I mean, look. First of all, nobody really takes the Scottish Greens absolutely seriously. They're basically massive cucks, and they're basically working with the SNP. But this idea of building a fairer and greener Scotland. I mean, first of all, they're just like the SNP, where they want to promote this idea of critical race theory and on all of that, and promoting the idea that have bringing all these migrants into the country, despite the fact nobody really wants them here to begin with. But anyway, just moving on from there. There is a photograph of the conference that was used. Just a little bit, a tad bit here. That's me. Looking out for the rest of the conference, for everyone, just making sure everything's going smoothly. So, but yeah, that's me. In case you were wondering. Continuing on from there. United Against Fascism, or UAF, Scotland, said it was very disturbing that the far right can organise a conference in Scotland. It shows the level of sophistication and privacy that they have using social media. But wait a minute, I always thought that we've been portrayed as as complete idiots and never should be taken seriously. But then all of a sudden, this is the thing when it comes to these leftists, they tend to contradict themselves every time they talk about us or any nationalists for that matter. You know, the 1 minute they'll say we're completely dumb, we're completely stupid, we're complete morons, and no one should take them seriously or take us seriously. But then the next breath they'll also say, "Oh, but they're also sophisticated and they're very clever of their workarounds and all of that." So it's like, well, like, which is it? Are we a threat or are we not a threat? You know, it's just like they just tend to contradict themselves all the time, but they don't care. As long as they try to make us look bad in any way, shape, or form, then they'll do anything they can to make us look bad. Anyway, as I was saying, we cannot allow these white supremacists to get even a toehold in this country, a UAF spokesperson added. I mean, with this part here with the UAF, or the United Against Fascism, at least the Scotland branch, I'm assuming, I mean, this just comes off as a blatant publicity stunt for them and wanting to promote themselves. Like, oh, look at us, we're here. You support us. It's like, mate, no one's gonna fucking support you. You're a bunch of LARPing douchebags. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, going on to what I was saying here, another quote. With the election in the last month of new far right governments in Italy and Sweden, we cannot be complacent in Scotland. The seeds for far right ideas are bubbling under the surface, with scapegoating of immigrants on the rise and unfounded conspiracy theories circulating the internet. Yeah, so unfounded conspiracy theories that, again, organizations like Channel 4 or the Dispatches documentary would blur out the part about the Professor David Coleman, which, again, why would they need to blur that out if they think it's just a complete far right conspiracy theorist? But anyway, continuing on, PA's Kenny Smith, a former member of the British National Party and self-described racial nationalist, that's pretty based, said it is clear from looking at the delegates that PA is exactly the opposite of how they portray us. Anti-whites lie and label us extremists, but we only accept within our ranks those who engage in positive community politics. They fear us because we only fight by legal means for our people. No, that's definitely that's true. We're not bad people, obviously. In fact, even the conference, I think any person who doesn't know what PA is or anything like that at all, if they were to go to a conference and see for themselves, they would think, wow, like they're actually not bad people. They're actually very well adjusted and very well respected group of people. They don't wish harm on anybody, or they don't be abusive or anything like that at all. They're just people who are just looking out for the well-being of their own people. That's it. That's literally all we care about in that case. We're very good people. We're very honest. We're very honorable, very decent people. We would never wish any harm on anybody. We're just looking out for the well-being of our own people. That's it. Last thing here with this article, and then we'll move on to Q&A. As it says here, a spokesperson for Sterling Highlands Hotel said, "We were unaware of the nature of the event or the organization which made this booking, as they provided an acronym at the time of booking. Had we known, we would not have accepted the booking." Which, I mean, look, again, going back to my personal experience at the conference, because again, I was there. I was not only an attendee, but I was also part of the security team for that day. There have been a couple of times where the hotel staff would come into the venue just to check up and see if everything was working fine and dandy. There was no any issues or problems or anything with that at all. And you know what? Funny enough, we had stands like the PA stands, or like you know how like the background stands, or like like not walls, but like the signs that read PA or patriotic alternative at the speaking part where the speakers would give their speeches, or even once you walk through the door and right ahead of you, there's all the stalls for Grandma Teller's tea, for Clean and Pure, for Claymore Books. There's also stands of like, well, no, actually, there weren't like, but I think there was a couple of like PA related signs that were also there as well. But they would also have noticed all the stuff at the speaking part, like PA and Patriotic Alternative, and still they never said anything about that whatsoever. They never told us, hey, you said that you were meant to be this particular group, but now you're coming out as like PA or anything like what exactly is going on here? We never agreed to this. They never did anything like that. They would come in multiple times and they were just like, oh, okay, everything's working fine, and would just continue on with their work or go on their merry way. So I think this quote right here, I think it's just for PR purposes, obviously trying to make themselves like, oh, we don't support this type of ideology or anything like that at all. Again, just so that they don't get any poor star ratings or anything like that at all. I mean, look, they're a business. Obviously, they're trying to keep themselves afloat. But I think if they genuinely had a problem with the venue or of what we were doing, they would have said something about that themselves. But they never did. There were actually a few times, and if I remember correctly, that the staff themselves would come into the venue and check to see if everything was okay, and they never said a peep about it. They never went up to the people who arranged the venue and saying, wait, I thought, as I said, I thought you were this group, but not this group, that type of idea. They never did that. So that quote there, probably more just a PR publicity thing. So again, no qualms with that whatsoever. So, and that seems to be the end of the article. And I think, oh, there's 3 comments. Let's have a look at the comments. So there's 3 here. We'll have a read through the comments and then we'll move on to something else. So here's one from Marcus, which was posted today at 12 minutes past 3 p.m., of course. What is the common denominator driving people all over Europe, Sweden, Italy, the latest to be swinging towards right-wing nationalist parties? That's a pretty good question, Marcus. Pretty good question. Sarah has posted, but this is I think these 2 are very recent comments coming through. So here's one from Sarah that reads, according to all, I don't know who this Sarah. I don't know if they're. I don't think they're related to PA or anything like that at all. But maybe they're just readers of the article. But I don't know. But let's have a look at this from Sarah. According to all reputable demographic projections, white people are being ethically replaced in all major metropolitan areas in northwestern Europe. That's very true. I agree with that. Yes, there's a lot of evidence to back that up in this case. This is not even to mention crime statistics, which constantly show that white people are brutally oppressed by violence from non-whites, as opposed to the non-white victims who are only oppressed by criminals who are also brown. Again, very fair point. There's tons of evidence to back up that claim, but whenever that gets brought up, the mainstream media and also the established elite or the leftist types will tend to sweep that under the rug because it goes completely against their whole narrative. But anyway, If you care about minority rights, quote unquote, you must know that white people are global minorities and they are being replaced by the endless hordes of non white people who often immigrate illegally and have no interest in assimilating into Western society. Again, that's very true, definitely. They would tend to bring their cultures and their families over to these countries, and they don't even have the common courtesy to even speak our own language. So, yeah, definitely true on that fact. Definitely true. Therefore, white nationalism, quote unquote, the normal position when broadening your perspective and looking at all of history is entirely justified and is actually the most logical position to hold. Unfortunately, one cannot expect pea-brained hack journalists like Billy Briggs to understand basic logic, which is why it writes such idiotic articles that people only read to laugh at. That's pretty base. Yeah. I mean, the article itself is just completely ridiculous. So, I mean, yeah, honestly, with that part. Here's the last one from Raymond. This, again, is a very fairly recent comment. I don't know who Raymond is. Maybe just a casual reader of the Ferret. I don't know, but here's one from them. And Raymond writes, I don't know who PA are, but apart from being a group you don't like, I can't see anything of substance listed as to why they're bad except conjecture and hearsay. It comes across as if you're using the Hitler drank water and so do PA, so they must be bad argument. That's a very valid point, actually. That's a good point. Surely, if there are instances of actual wrongdoing, you'd list them. Yeah, exactly. Notice how all these articles, including this one right here, they always talk about, oh, well, they're a very bad organization. They've done stuff in the past. It's like, okay, list them then. List those examples of what PA have done, and let people have a look into it themselves and let them judge for themselves. But they never tend to do that. The only thing they can come up with is, oh, there's accusations of Sam Melia being linked to like a banned terrorist group called National Action, despite the fact, as I said before, that has been completely debunked over and over and fucking over again. But they only keep bringing this up because that's the only thing they have, really. So, and funny enough, that accusation is thrown by groups like Hope Not Hate. So take anything with a pinch of salt from Hope Not Hate, because anything they turn out can be not can be. It's most of the time they're just blatant. Well, not even most of the time, they're just blatant lies. Complete blatant lies. They will do and say anything they can to make PA look bad in any way, shape, or form. So take anything with a pinch of salt from anything that comes out of groups like Hope Not Hate. But anyway, as a centrist, oh God, I hope they're not really a centrist, but anyway, as a centrist, I also think some of the other groups you've listed are very partisan with their own ideologies and are seen by a lot of people as the opposite, as far right and just as bad. Aren't Hope Not Hate currently being investigated by the police? That's a very good point, actually, because I think I remember, I think Tommy Robinson might have covered this, but no, I think there's an ongoing police investigation of Hope Not Hate. So funny that, isn't it? That Hope Not Hate wants to portray groups like PA as this really bad organization, but they themselves are being investigated by the police themselves, which, I mean, really makes you think, doesn't it? Really makes you think. If you're trying to enlighten us in the middle, I'm afraid you're not doing it right. Must try harder, even with actual information. I'm going to go look into them right now to see if they're as bad as you insinuate. As my instinct is telling me you've not been fair or unbiased, right, Raymond? Again, really good comment. Really good comment. So that's that regarding to the article by the Ferret. Again, just another blatant lies from the Ferret. So that's that article done. I wonder what the Daily Record article is going to be like. I think that's going to be really interesting. Now, I don't know if that article by the Daily Record will be coming out tomorrow or maybe Saturday or maybe next week. I don't know. But the Ferret article came out last night, so I don't know whether or not if maybe it might come out at some point. It's just a case of we're just going to wait and see, really. So, Picking Guys 1972 and Kate are in the chat just now. Thank you guys very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Really appreciate it. Let me see here. They never going to give nationalists a fair hearing. No, they will not. They never will do that because again, if we were actually given a fair hearing and let us actually speak our minds out of what we honestly and truly believe, as I said, there's a high chance that people might actually come over to our side, and that's what they don't want to happen. So again, they'll try anything they can to make us look bad and try and not give us a fair representation or anything like that at all. They're complete utter scumbags for doing that. But again, it just goes to show the desperation that they don't want us to be successful or anything like that at all. Again, people might have their opinions on the recent elections that were held in both Sweden and Italy, but I think it's fair to say that those elections are prime examples of maybe nationalism moving moving into a step in the right direction. But again, only time will tell with that. Watching mood, liking mood, mate. Fair enough. Who cares what the media say about us? They are idiots. Yeah, they're the true idiots, of course. They're just basically tools for the establishment. I know I've said that over and over again on the show, but it's true. They're basically useful idiots for the established elite. That's basically what they are in a nutshell with that. So. A national resurgence, yeah, hopefully. I really do hope it's becoming more like a national resurgence, streaky beacon. I really do hope that it's becoming like that. And all the way, the people have no idea about any of this, nor are they bothered. If we can tell them Netflix and Uber Eats is no longer available, then they'd listen. Yeah, that's a pretty valid point, to be fair with that. What time is it now? Just after 8:30. Excellent. Well, I think what we'll do is maybe for another few minutes, we'll just do like a casual Q&A for the time being. So if there's people in the chat just now, if you want to ask me a question, feel free to do so. What to do is type in @Chief Moody and then go ahead and ask ask your question away. It can be any question you would like, and I'll be happy to answer it. So. Any question you would like, I'll be happy to answer, as I said. So I don't think there's really any point to get a refill of a water bottle. I should have maybe done that at the start of the show, but it's fine. I don't think my coughing has been that bad, but I think what it is, when I'm talking a lot at this point in time, my throat tends to maybe kind of act up a little bit because of the cold I've had last week. But anyway, so. Here's for Herbert. Excellent. Chief Woody, did you see History Debunk's video regarding PA earlier today? I sent you a link via Telegram. It might be worth discussing. I mean, I haven't really seen the video myself, but again, I just think I might maybe give it a watch maybe after the show, but I just really think there's really no point of talking about that guy because look, this year alone, I think he's made 2, 3, maybe 4 videos talking about PA, and people have asked him, well, look, if you have any problems with PA or with Mark or with Laura, then why don't you just have an open discussion with them? Not necessarily a debate, but just have a talk with them. And he's like, well, I'm open to discussions. They should just write emails to me or maybe get back to me with that. And even then, I've seen time after time again, Mark and Laura have messaged him directly saying, hey, we don't want have any problems. Let's have a talk about this. It could be a discussion or maybe a slight debate. Let's have a conversation about this. And every single time when they've done that, he's always backed away from it. It's like, oh well, I mean, what? He's either backed away from it, like I don't want to have a conversation with them, or he just doesn't really. He's like. Oh, I've talked to them, but I've never heard back from them. So I think it's just a case of, at this point in time, there's really no point in bothering with them. I mean, I have no patience for people like that. I think there's way more important things at hand here than someone online who just only doing it just to seek fucking attention at this point. So it seems to me at this point with him that he's obsessed with us rather than us being obsessed with him. So I'll probably give it a watch maybe after the show, but at this point in time, what's really what else is there to say at this point, really? And I know people might think it might be saying, "Oh, this is you just starting drama." I'm not starting any drama. I'm just honestly just calling this a spade a spade. I'm just telling it like it is. That's what I honestly think about it. I think there's way more important things are going on just now that I think are more deserving attention. For example, the well-being of our people and wanting to get the message out there. I think that's way more important than just wasting our breath and energy over someone who will constantly make videos about us, but never actually would have the balls to even have a conversation with us about it. So, anyway, what else is here about? Let me see here. That's it really pouring down with rain now. I can hear from the window, but anyway, Simon and his web of lies. Yeah, so. Was this from Streaky Bacon's? Chief Brady, can you teach me how to speak Russian in 4? I don't know how to speak Russian with that. Actually, funny that you mentioned that. There was an app I was using a while back ago. I still have it on here. What's the app called? Wait a minute. It's called. I don't know if any of you use it, but it's called Duolingo. So it's like this. It's like this app you can use if you want to learn speaking in other languages. So at the time, I was learning 3 or 4 languages. Those consist of Gaelic, German, Japanese, and I think the 4th one was maybe Italian, but that's pretty much it. So, I mean, maybe not now or maybe in the next 4 weeks, but maybe in the near future, I guess, if it's being serious. But I highly doubt if you're being serious. But I mean, maybe not now, but in the near future, of course. But anyway, let's see from here. But thank you for the question, Streaky Bacon. Thank you for that. Let me see here. From Ochiai-san, Chief, how do your schools teach about the era of the British colonialization in Africa and Asia? Well, from myself, I've never learned anything like that back in my school days, but I know from what I've heard, I think there may be people like Resisting the Lies would be the best person to maybe talk to you about that, especially if it's education here in Scotland. But what I know here in Scotland, there's a lot of teachings about critical race theory, which is basically anti-white propaganda. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they would teach British colonialization in Africa and Asia. I mean, when it comes to that, I know that current schools here in Scotland would teach about slavery and how it's horrible that the white man treated the black man throughout history. Never mind the fact it wasn't the white people who owned the slave ships, but that's beside the point. But another specific group of people, Jews. But I just thought maybe I would bring that up in this case with that. So, but yeah. There's a lot of that going on when it comes to the education system with that. But again, I think the best person maybe speak to, actually 2 people I would say to speak to about that would be Resisting the Lies or DJ, who's based in Scotland, who would teach you about the Scottish aspect of Scottish education, and for the English education or maybe a UK-wide education, primarily in England, I would say probably someone like Abby Wood or Abby, or AKA the Anglo-Saxon teacher, because she is like I think she's still currently an educator or teacher herself, so she would definitely give you like pure examples of the education system in England. I mean, because she's worked in that field, currently speaking, if I remember. So I hope that may answer your question, Ochiai. If not, I do apologize, but I do hope that may answer your question with that. You're welcome, Streaky Bacon. So let's see here. Roscoe, any idea when the speeches will be out? I'm assuming you're referring to the speeches that were given during the recent Scottish conference. From what I've heard, they are being worked on at the moment, which is really good to see and hear. I don't know when exactly they will be out. I think they will be out either by the end of this week. If not, they will probably be out by sometime next week. But they are. But even that being said, they are definitely being worked on as we speak with regard to that. So they're definitely being worked on. Probably you would see them maybe next week. Hopefully in that case with that. Because of course, a lot of the guys who are part of the media team are really busy doing outside stuff as well. That being work and all of that. But I'm sure they're working around the clock to get those speeches out as soon as humanly possible. So I think maybe people might have caught a glimpse of one of the speeches from Psy, where there's a great photograph of him in response to the Ferret article that I just read out earlier today. So we'll probably see that at some point again, maybe next week. But I'll keep you guys posted for any future announcements with that. So, but yeah, we'll definitely see with that. Let me see. 1 in the chat if you support Russia, 2 in the chat if you support Ukraine. Fair enough. So, Joe Marsh, real quick. All Simon does is regurgitate BBC headlines. He offers no solutions. He's actually useless, Chief Moody. Wow. Well, I mean, there you go. So there we go with that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, when it comes to Simon or History Debunk, I might have watched a video here and there, but when he first started making these videos constantly about PA, and then when we tried to talk to, well, when I say we, obviously people like Laura and Mark were trying to contact with them and maybe trying to arrange a conversation, he just backs out from this. So at that point, I've just lost all respect for the guy. So, and of course, what Joe's saying, he's basically one of those types of nationalists who talks about the problems but never actually brings an actual solution to the problem. So, not really much of a surprise there. So if you really guys like him, like Simon or History Debunk, there's far more important matters that they're far more important than wasting their time and energy on someone like him. So, but yeah, that's we'll see with that in this case. What's the tricky big Chief Rudy? Can you marry me and Kate a week's Saturday? She has bought a new dress and everything. Do you know what I mean? As funny as that I actually do like your question, Streaky Bacon. I really do like these questions. So maybe it might be. I was gonna say it maybe sound a bit like a hypothetical, but sure, like if you want. So I would be the one like to just be like I now pronounce you husband and wife, or I don't know, something to that effect. But there we go. Marcus Cross is in the chat with us. Thank you very much for watching Move the Nation, Marcus. Thank you for being here. Joe Marsh again. Support none of them. They just want a European war. Don't buy into this shit. Yeah, indeed. When it comes to the whole Ukraine situation, fair enough. Bill Athling, this is a very good question. Last fiction work you read? Last fiction work I've read. Christ, that must be something that maybe a long time ago. Now, when I say this, like it could be either or, like a novel or like a graphic novel, because I don't read comics necessarily anymore, but I used to read a lot of comic books or like manga and all of that. I don't really do anymore, but to answer your question, the last fiction work I've read, that's I'm trying to think. There was a book I was reading a while ago, but I'm trying to think what book that was. I think the last book I've read was probably George Orwell's 1984. I don't know if I may have finished the book entirely, or maybe I got like halfway through it, or maybe I stopped for whatever reason. But I'm pretty sure that was like the last book I've read. It was George Orwell's 1984. Because I know when it comes to people in our circles, that's quite an essential read. One of the books in this case, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 1984 if I remember correctly. So yeah, let me see here. Would that be Father movie you're asking? Thanks for your answer. Really helps. No worries, Ochia. Thank you very much. Happiness is good for us. I can tell you how. Let me see here. Night, everyone. Got to turn in. Work in the morning. Be lucky. Take care. Same to yourself, Gammon. Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Any other questions coming through? Simon Webb will talk to Mark and Laura. It will be great. Oh, so is that official now? I take it, or is it just a case of like maybe one day he will, but I don't know. I I just think it's something that, I mean, look, he's been doing this like for the past throughout this entire year, and yet nothing's really came out of it in this case. So I think if he really does have any qualms or problems with PA or anything like that at all, just have a fucking conversation with Mark or Laura. I mean, they're not going to bite or anything like that at all. I'm sure it's going to be a very cordial conversation or debate. It's not going to be like some kind of internet blood sport type of bullshit or anything like that at all. It's going to be a very friendly conversation. At least I hope so anyway. Well, hope so, but I know so because again, it's both Mark and Laura. But so he's never got any solutions. He's a grifter when it comes to Simon. Yeah. Simon obviously has a big ego, a bit of a know-it-all. I mean, he does kind of come off like that for watching mostly his recent videos I've seen of PA videos. But anyway, Rory Herbert, real quick. Chief Moody, apparently you're a Celtic priest. What's Scots Gaelic for in nominated Patrice affiliate? I've no idea. I never really got that far into learning that part of it, Rory, but I'm sorry, I can't. I'm not the best person to maybe tell you about that, what it really is, but anyway, let me see here. Let me see. You don't read enough if you can't remember. Yeah, I mean, I really should read a lot more, to be quite honest with you. I got a copy of George Orwell's Animal Farm, basically sitting there collecting dust. Even though I've picked it up, and I remember thinking, I actually really want to maybe read that, so I thought I would just buy it just in case. I've never read a single page of it, so I'm pretty much free for this weekend anyway. Maybe I can give that maybe a chance to maybe read that at some point, but we'll see. We'll definitely see with that. Speaking of which, I actually got a couple of other books that are sitting there that maybe I did say that I would maybe cover them on the show at some point, but we'll see with that. We'll definitely see with that. Has that Chief Woody? Have you seen Scottish History Tour channel? If not, check them out. I have seen them before. Some of the guys from PA Scotland have, of course, shared them around, and I have seen them before. And I just, again, the case of like a biracial guy, half white, half black gentleman, claiming to be Scottish and all of that, trying to give Scottish history tours, or a Scottish history tour, sorry, which I think kind of rubs me the wrong way, because Scotland has always been historically, culturally speaking, a white nation, and I think it would make a lot more sense having a white Scottish person, or a Scottish person who is white, to actually give basic history when it comes to Scotland, instead of non-Scottish people that being blacks or anything like that at all, given history with that, because I think it kind of rubs me the wrong way with that. It's like if a white person were to tell history, or African history, or Ugandan history, or anything like that at all. It just really wouldn't be right, that type of idea. But anyway, let me see here. 1984 is a must-read if you're interested in politics. Indeed. I actually still have a copy of that in my home. I need to actually dig that out at some point. Maybe give that another read. Home and Talk, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Appreciate you being here, sir. Let me see here. No one would get away with saying what Simon of History Debunked says if they weren't a Zionist stooge. Yeah, fair point. Animal Farm is born anyway, Chief Mary. Well, I mean, that may be your opinion, Streaky Bacon, but I'll be the judge of that when I give it a read at some point. So I'll definitely see if I can give it a read with that. So, good point, Roy Herbert. He says he's asking in the chat, maybe you should give us a review of Animal Farm once you have read it. Yeah, that's such a good point. Actually, I definitely should give that a read, because look, people said, as I think was it Austin Advocate that said in the chat. Wait a minute, I'll see if I can get the comment again. Yeah, he's the one who said in the chat, 1984 is a must read if you're interested in politics. So I know that 1984 is considered to be is considered to be the holy grail when it comes to that. But I think it's fair to say that we should give Animal Farm maybe the same love as 1984. But again, I'm only saying that just now. I haven't really read the book myself, but I'll let you guys know in advance, and maybe I can give you guys a bit of a review of that book. Just like when I did a review of Hammer of the Patriot. Now, to be fair, that's the pre-Claymore Books version, so it's a more Americanized version of that book. But yeah, I'll see you in the future. I'll do a review of Animal Farm at some point. And I even also have a copy of another book, which I won't name it just yet, but I'll definitely see if that could be worthy of review material for the show. So we'll definitely see with that. He rubs me the wrong way too, and I'm not even Scottish. Yeah, in referencing us the Scottish History Tours guy. Yeah, the Scots fucker with the dreadlocks will annoy me. Let me see here. Bill Athling, another question from him. Also, have you seen The Northman? Chief Moody, I haven't yet. I've not seen that at all. I've seen the PA Film Club review of The Northman, but I've never actually watched it myself. I really want to, though, because I keep hearing a lot of really good things about The Northman, and people are saying it's actually a very based film, but I don't know. I might need to give that a look at some point, and then again, maybe I can even give a short review of that as well at some point for the show. And then we shall see from there. Because obviously, when it comes to Mood of the Nation, I don't want it to be just like me reading out articles. I kind of also want to do like other stuff, like maybe give reviews on certain things. Again, that's something you guys would be interested in. And then, of course, just to give a bit more of a variety for the show type of idea. So, Tomorrow We Live by Sir Oswald Mosley. Is that his? Well, I was going to say his book, obviously, but is that like a biography of Oswald Mosley, or I don't know if that might be the same book that was reviewed on the PA Book Club. Because that's actually a book I really want to read. Is that book that was reviewed by the PA Book Club? Is the one with about Oswald Mosley, and it's in the perspective of when all of that was going on at the time when he was around and forming forming the BUF, or when the BUF was formed at that point, the British Union of Fascists. So that's a book I really want to read. Really want to read at some point. Personal Difficulties by from Tokar. I mean, I can maybe have a look and see what's available, and then see from there. Homatalk saying, I like The Northman. Fair enough. I need to give that a watch at some point. 1984, Turner's Diary, Camp of the Saints. Those three are all must-reads for nationalists. All right. I'll see if I can have a look into that and see from there. So I'll see if I can dig up 1984. I'm pretty sure I still have a copy of that somewhere. I'll have a look at Camp of the Saints and also have a look at Turner's Diary and see from there with that. Actually, you know what? I'll see if I can maybe see if I can give myself a bit of a reminder as well. Let me see here. Just 1 second, folks. I'll just get this up here in a moment and then see from there. Oh, god damn it. I'm not. Right, so Camp of the Saints, and yeah, just type in corrections or anything like that. That's fine. Finally, Turner's Diary. Right, let's save that. There's a little reminder for myself regarding to that part, so that should be fine. Perfect. Thank you, Austin Advocate, for advising me on those two books. That because obviously I know what 1984 is already, but those other two, thank you very much for giving the heads up with that. So I've got Mosley's biography. I really want to read that. Let me have a look here and see. Right, yeah, perfect. I've got a book called Oswald Mosley, Right of Wrong from 1961. My old man bought it at Mosley's HQ in London in 1961. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Nice. What's that? Excellent. Time is it now? 8:56 p.m. Right. Well, folks, I think with that, I greatly appreciate the comments coming through and all of these suggestions for any future books I really want to read. What I want to do now is, and for those that maybe came in late, I do apologize, but I'm just at this point. Oh, hold on one second. Hold on, talk real quick. Since it's October, take a look at Pontypool Chief Mooney in chat. Zombie flick that takes the idea of language as infectious. All right. Look at what's it called? Pontypool. I've never heard of that before, but I'll have a look at that in a moment. 1 second here. Support. I'll also write that in my notes as a reminder for myself. Let me see here. Crap, on that Pontypool. Right. So a zombie flick that takes the idea of language as infectious. I've never heard of that idea. That seems quite a very out there type of concept, but I'll definitely have a look at that at some point. The Life of a Dandy Highwayman by Dan Deliver is good. Fair enough. No worries. Right then. With that being said, folks, I greatly appreciate your time. I'm going to call an end to tonight's episode there because we're approaching 9 o'clock just now. But, ladies and gentlemen, I greatly appreciate everyone coming again tonight. I greatly appreciate your support. I greatly appreciate everyone coming again. I've already said that. Sorry. And I will be back for Sunday at 5 p.m. Any issues or updates or anything like that at all, of course, I'll post on my social medias just in case. Cheers, Chassis. You'll see. Thank you very much, Bill Lathing. Was there another thing I was going to mention? I think that's pretty much it, really, for tonight. But again, just thank you very much for coming. One last thing I'll mention, of course, just before everyone leaves. Again, if you'd like to support me financially, helping me out when it comes to future events, like for activism and all of that, or helping out the show, then you can always donate to me through Coffee or through PayPal directly. The links will be in the chat as a pinned comment or even in the description down below. Any donation received will be greatly beneficial, and I would greatly appreciate your kind generosity with that. Just real quick, also as an advocate, the best zombie film in... Oh, damn it. Hold on 1 second here. Griff level has gone up to ninja. Well, thank you very much, Joe. I could be quite sneaky with that, apparently, but anyway. Best zombie film is a Japanese one called Train to Busan. I've heard of that film before. Is that not a South Korean zombie film? I'm pretty sure I think it does take place in South Korea, but no, I've heard about that film and I heard really good things about it. Although there's one zombie film I'm quite a fan of that I've seen before. And it's actually something I've been thinking about for a while because I kind of want to do a Halloween special for Mid of the Nation at some point. And maybe, just maybe, I might want to maybe talk about that film in full length and maybe do it as a review because it's something that I really liked a lot and maybe people should give it a check for themselves. I'm not going to say what that film is yet because it's a fairly recent film, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, and I greatly recommend people checking that out. It's actually one of the best zombie films ever made, if not of all time. With that, in my opinion, Dawn of the Dead. It's not Dawn of the Dead, although both the original and the remake are. Well, I say the original is much better. Although I do like the remake, but I do prefer the original. Although the original 1978 film by George A. Romero, of course, is quite dated by today's standards. But if you look past the 70s aesthetic to it, it's still a great film nonetheless with that. So with that being said, I'm just going to draw to a close for tonight's episode. And I will be back for Sunday at 5 p.m. with episode 113, I think it is. Which I can't wait for that, of course. Anyway, let me see if I can find a song to play us out with. And then we shall see from there. But again, I greatly appreciate everyone's time. Thank you all very much once again for coming along and watching Mood of the Nation. I know it was a bit kind of short notice with the recent updates on my Telegram pages and whatnot. It's just because I was quite tired after work and I was quite busy with doing other things at the time. But I hope everyone enjoyed tonight's episode nonetheless with that. So, and if people missed it, again, I'm sure people can catch it when the channel or when the show gets uploaded onto my channel. And that's going to be it. So with that being said, again, thank you very much for watching. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening, and enjoy your weekend when it comes up. Thank you all once again, and good night. Take care. Good night.
Wake up, it's fun.
Reach the wizard.
It's fun. Wake up,
Reach the wizard.
it's fun. Wake up, it's fun.
Reach the wizard.
It's fun. Wake up,
Reach the wizard.
it's fun.